What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. In this video, I wanted to review my Cole-Tac HTP Suppressor cover, and I have it sitting on my Silencer Co. Omega 300 30 caliber suppressor, aka silencer, which is on my Ruger M77 Hawkeye Alaskan 300 Winchester Magnum bolt action rifle. And so suppressor covers are important because when you shoot more than 1 or 2 rounds with a suppressor on your rifle, you start to get a mirage coming off the top of the suppressor, and you'll see it through your scope, and it'll affect your ability to see your target through your scope. So suppressor covers are very important. They're also good for transporting your firearm. If you're at the range and you take a couple of shots with your suppressor on and you need to leave the range, you don't have to sit and wait for 20 minutes or 30 minutes for your suppressor to really cool down. You can just keep the cover on and throw it in your vehicle, and it'll prevent your suppressor from burning anything, especially if you're doing any kind of tactical training or tactical drills with your suppressor, or you plan to employ your rifle in a tactical CQB type environment. Having a suppressor cover is important because if you transition from your rifle to your sidearm, you can burn your leg or parts of your body with the suppressor when you drop the rifle down from your high ready position or low ready position. You drop it down. Let's say you took a couple of shots, the can is hot, you drop the rifle down and you go to draw your sidearm, and the can burn your thigh or another part of your body. So a good suppressor cover is important. And I primarily use this suppressor cover for trips to the range and also for hunting. I also plan to use this in an SHTF situation. But this suppressor cover has a very high melting point. I forget the exact degrees, but it's the second highest that Cole-Tac makes. So Cole-Tac makes a corset suppressor cover, which uses kind of like a shoelace to cinch down the suppressor cover on top of your suppressor. This one uses Velcro. Okay, so you have 3 Velcro straps. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by Cole-Tac. I'm just doing this review for you guys. They didn't send this to me. I'm not getting paid, or I'm not getting any commission for this. I'm just trying to review a product that I think is good. So you have these 3 Velcro straps that hold the cover onto your suppressor. And I've actually painted this suppressor cover with some fabric paint. It came in multicam, and I'm just not a fan of multicam. It doesn't work well here in Pennsylvania. So I just painted it with some fabric paint, green and brown, and I think it looks great. And there's the logo, Cole-Tac. And just to show you guys, it is made in the US, okay? And so these are actually custom made. So when you order these from Cole-Tac, you give them your suppressor model and make, and you tell them the length of your suppressor and the diameter, and they make these specifically for your suppressor. And you also get this rubber cover, so you put the rubber cover over your suppressor, and I don't know the exact material. It looks like some kind of rubber or silicone, and then you put your actual cover on top of that. Okay, this keeps your cover from melting. Okay, so this is probably some kind of a silicone or Nomex composite material. And you can see it's not too thick. It's maybe 1/4 inch thick. And then you just take your cover and you use the Velcro to attach it. So I want to just show you guys some testing that I did with this cover. I took a few strings of shots with my 300 Win Mag and also with my AR-10 308, and I wanted to see how well this cover worked. And so I'm going to attach some footage of that. But overall, I think it's a great option. The price is good. You can pick one of these up for about $100. The only downside is the Velcro. If you're in a tactical situation, that Velcro could come off, especially if you're going through the woods. You know, this Velcro could hit a branch or some kind of brush or something and undo itself. So what I do in a situation like that, where I'm expecting to carry this through the woods, or I'm afraid that it's going to fall off for whatever reason, I just get some rubber bands. You can buy tactical rubber bands on Amazon for like 15 bucks, and you can get a whole pack, and they're very heavy duty. You want to look for the Ranger bands. They're called Ranger bands. They're like really thick rubber bands, and they're like a 1/2 inch wide. And I just put some rubber bands over the Velcro, one rubber band over each Velcro strap to hold it in place. But I think it's a great option, guys. Wanted to just review this piece of gear with you. So stay tuned for some footage of me testing this thing out. And if you want to see all of my suppressor videos, they're in my suppressors playlist. I'll leave a link to that playlist in the top right corner of this video. Alright guys, I took 3 shots, AR-10 308, got the Cole-Tac suppressor cover, HTP, and it's still cool to the touch. It's kind of warm. If you squeeze it tight, you can feel it's a little warm, but if you just touch it, it's just basically like room temperature. So pretty cool, works pretty good. Alright guys, just took 3 more shots with the AR-10 308, and it's still cool to the touch. It's a little bit warmer now, but it's still pretty cool to the touch. So I would say I took 6 shots in a 5-minute period, and it's still cool to the touch. So it's a little bit warm if you squeeze it, but you can barely feel it. So I'd say it's working pretty good so far. Alright guys, just took 3 shots, and same thing. It's a little bit warm to the touch. If I really squeeze it hard, it's a little bit warm to the touch, but otherwise it's basically room temperature. Okay, so this thing definitely works. Yeah, it definitely works. All right, guys, just took 3 more shots with the Federal Power Shock 150 grain soft point, and it's still cool to the touch. It's getting a little bit warm. I'm not gonna lie, it's starting to get a little warm, but it's still basically room temperature. It's not like super hot or anything. It's not starting to feel like a hand warmer or anything like that. It's, you know, basically room temperature, slightly warmer now, starting to warm up a little bit, but I'm pretty impressed, guys. So far, so good. It's 15 shots, 308 with a 16-inch barrel, and it's still cool to the touch, so I'd say that's pretty good. All right, guys, so I actually took the external cover off just to see how it feels, and I stopped shooting probably 5 or 10 minutes ago, and it's still quite warm. You can feel how warm it is through this rubber cover they have here. But even with just this rubber cover, it still doesn't feel too bad. You can still grab it and touch it and hold it. If it was just bare metal, I would be burning my hand right now. So I'd say it works pretty good, guys. All right, guys, so I just took 3 shots in rapid succession with my 300 Win Mag, and let's see if it's hot at all. It is not hot. Okay, so that's pretty impressive, and the barrel is actually really hot. So I'm sure the suppressor is hot, but this thing is just cool to the touch. I'd say it's doing a good job. I'm going to actually take the outer cover off, and let's see how it feels with the outer cover off now. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's quite hot. Yeah, it's quite hot. So this thing does a lot of the work. This rubber part just prevents this from catching fire and melting. I'm pretty impressed, guys. And that was 3 shots with some hot boutique ammo from my 300 Win Mag. This is choice ammunition, 175 grain LRX, and I got a muzzle velocity of 2,850 feet per second, so it's a pretty hot load. So I'm pretty impressed, guys. I'd say it's working pretty good. Now, the only thing I would say that I don't like is the Velcro. You know, if you're in a real tactical situation, these Velcro covers could come off, but you know, you could always just take some heavy-duty rubber bands and just use some heavy-duty rubber bands, and that'll hold it in place. And that's probably what I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to just rubber band it because that'll keep it nice and tight. You can get some tactical rubber bands, some nice thick ones that'll just hold it nice and tight, because these Velcro tabs, they're very convenient, but I could see them just coming right off in an actual tactical situation. Or if you're hunting, you know, let's say you're walking through the woods and, you know, you hit a branch or something, a twig, and it just pops it off. So I'm definitely going to use some tactical rubber bands to keep this thing on there if I use it for hunting or a tactical situation. All right, guys, I just took 3 more shots with the 300 Win Mag. Used some Underwood ammo, 180 grain AccuBonds, and those travel around 2,875 feet per second. And I'm touching this thing and it's not hot at all. So definitely works good. And the barrel is actually really hot. I don't even want to imagine how hot the suppressor is. All right, guys, I just took 3 more shots with the 300 Win Mag, and I took 3 shots with the Choice Ammunition 180 grain AccuBond, and that one travels around 2,900 feet per second, and it feels kind of warm, but I'd say it's in good condition. Now, actually, it's starting to get a little bit busted up at the end here. I got to slide this back a little bit closer to the chamber, but I got to slide it back because it's starting to get a little busted up at the end there. So make sure this cover is slid all the way back, that you don't start to get close to the end of the suppressor, the muzzle end of the suppressor, because you could start to damage the material here. It's not really damaged, but I bet if I shot a bunch more, it would probably, something could happen here. So you just got to make sure it's pushed towards the chamber